The Dark Pictures anthology is planned as a series of 8 games which each tell a different story. The studio responsible for them is Supermassive Games, the same developer who brought us the PS4 exclusive Until Dawn. Man of Medan is the first of these 8 planned games and plays a lot like Until Dawn did in its essence. They've used the same motion capture with real actors and that leaves a very good initial impression. However, there will be a lot of times when the characters will still look like particularly weird puppets who don't really appear to move or even have the face expressions of real humans. Something positive to mention is that we will actually get native 21:9 ultra-wide support here. If you want to go super ultra-wide with 32:9, you will still have to find a fix, but I appreciate the fact that the game at least features partial ultra-wide support. Early on, the game reminds you of the fact that QuickTime events are a big deal here, and also that almost all of its gameplay is based on Until Dawn, which was a console exclusive. Playing it with a keyboard and mouse will feel really clunky and unresponsive, so I had to resort to using a PS4 gamepad in order to remedy that. Luckily, the game lets you switch the button prompts between Xbox and PlayStation, which is really nice. It also lets you change the QuickTime event settings from mashing to simple button holding, which is a godsend. I can't tell you how much I hated when games force me to mash buttons. Not only is it annoying, but it also makes me feel like I am shortening the lifespan of whatever device I have to abuse in order to pass a certain section of a game. With that having been said, let's move on to the actual game. The story here is about as bad and cheesy as you can imagine when you consider our 4 protagonists. You control these young people, none of which are likable, while they asshole their way through a vacation. And since my philosophy is not to spoil a story no matter how bad it is, I cannot tell you much about it, but I can share with you the fact that they will get abducted pretty much at the beginning of the game and you will have to find a way to escape their captors. The player is offered choices which vary between extremely vague and unclear and very obvious in terms of their consequences. Sometimes you choose one thing and it feels like the game just does something completely different. Other times it works just as intended. I don't really get why the devs have to essentially take the wheel and play the game while forcing the player in the seat of a mere observer and then insisting that the consequences are totally the result of the player's decisions. Man of Medan tries to create this idea of complexity by giving us information about the controlled characters' relationships with others, as well as their particular traits and disposition. At first I assumed that it might have some effect on their behavior, but I was wrong. None of that matters. None at all. The only conclusion I draw from it is that the game provides you with information about how it would like you to roleplay with these guys. Nothing can stop you from making a character who is supposed to be smart and in good standing with someone else, act like a complete asshole to that other person, and just do stupid choices all around. It's just like a recommendation. At least that's how I view it. They also have these premonitions which appear when you view a painting. The game instructs you to pay attention to them since they provide valuable hints of what is going to happen. Unfortunately, those appear to be completely useless since the premonitions may show you something that will never take place during your playthrough due to choices you've made long before you actually saw the hint. In addition to that, you will never really know what was going on there since it's too short and cryptic anyway. If anything, I'd say that these make a bit more sense if you replay the game and try to actually create a situation like the one you've seen in the premonition. The game is divided in chapters between which you get to listen to the curator, a character who talks to you and offers some spoilers which you can refuse or accept. His function is questionable at best. He doesn't really do anything besides appearing in all of the planned 8 games. I still found him to be interesting and wish he had been more important and above all prominent role in the story. As for the actual characters we get to control, they all suck and I never felt any attachment to any of them. The only ones even worse than them were the antagonists. The levels of incompetence and stupidity displayed here were on par with those of the burglars in the Kevin Home Alone movies. The game's main issue is that it really wants to be scary but has no idea how to do it. The devs could have woven a deep story with unexpected twists, likable multifaceted characters, or instead give us a shallow House of Horrors carousel where something jumps in your face and screams at every second, and guess which one they went for? Yep, the jump scare options. So now the game will get loud all the time and try its hardest to startle the player. The biggest problem in my eyes is that Man of Medan unintentionally created the perfect environment for jump scares. For the most part, it's boring as hell. You are essentially playing a walking simulator in which the environments are uninteresting, the characters are between lame and annoying, the villains create no tension because of comical levels of incompetence, and the gameplay is comprised of mostly pushing one analog stick on your gamepad in order to make whoever you are controlling move in the direction of the next point of interest. You get to enjoy, and when I'm saying enjoy, I'm doing sarcastic quotation marks, a linear, mostly corridor-based walking simulator. There was only one section of the game which was visually more interesting, and it only lasts for about 20 minutes. During that time, the monsters appear. That's pretty much it. Man of Medan takes around 4 hours to play through, but offers lots of replayability options since your choices have some weight and can change the outcome of the story, particularly if you get some of the characters killed. It is quite annoying that some of the outcomes will simply be determined by the results of QTEs and not the aforementioned choices. One of my characters died like that, which annoyed me a lot, so I ended up closing the game through Task Manager in order to make sure it doesn't get a chance to save. That way I was able to replay the section and save him. It may sound like cheating, but I wanted to save all of them, and that death felt really unfair because the QuickTime event, which forced it, gave me only one chance of doing it right. Man of Medan currently costs under €10 on Steam, and that would have been a good price if the game had not been so bad. Unfortunately it is, and therefore I can't recommend it to anyone, not even those who loved Until Dawn. The one thing which I really did enjoy were the extra videos you can watch, which show you footage related to how the game was made. I think it speaks for itself when the extra footage ends up entertaining the player more than the actual game. I hope the next game of the series will be better, although I am very worried since it has an actor whom I really can't stand, but when the time comes I promise to give it a fair chance anyway. With that having been said, I would like to thank you for watching Game Filter and hope to see you on the next video. Until then, have a great day.
Some sort of altercation. Alex? Julia? Oh, fuck no.